All right, what's going on, speculators? Let's fire up the Futures Fanatic live stream for the afternoon of Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. Just real quick, want to remind everybody of the disclaimer and risk disclosure. Please make sure you read that, especially the top part. Pretty funny. Anyway, just this presentation for educational purposes only, and the opinions expressed are those of me. And all trades presented should be considered hypothetical. I'm mostly trading in prop accounts, which are simulated trading accounts, and they should not be expected to be replicated in a live trading account. Quick one for picture and sound would be great. And now for the little teaser, in case someone comes in because of this headline, I'm also going to make a video today, a more formal video on this exact topic, which is I am done with Apex. But yes, it's a little bit of clickbait, not in the way you would think. But what I'm going to do today is buy my last 5 Apex evaluations that I'll ever purchase. I've had approaching 300. Now, before you go, 300? What? You suck. I looked over the stats and I actually passed 181 of them, but only ever activated 40. I'm on my 40th, so I'll buy 5 more, activate those within 30 to 60 days, and we'll have 20 PA accounts, and it'll be the last time I ever go through that cycle again. I got back to passing and then taking some profits from these things. By the way, on another account, a personal account, and just real quick, you can't do this, don't do this, it's not permitted. But back in the beginning with Apex, I had a personal account and I had a couple business accounts, and I knew the guys there and I was working with them, so I had some for teaching, training, and education, and others. But on my personal accounts, 6 figures of withdrawals, if not more. And then here on these business accounts, which are under my business name, which is called Ciridor Capital, I'm approaching about 50,000 in payouts, really doing it very part-time, because many of you know that are following my streams, I'm involved and connected to a lot of other accounts and doing a lot of other things. But let me just bring up Discord real quick, and I don't know where that went. Here we go. And as I've shown a little bit before, my favorite channel on Discord is our prop payout channel. And these are the ones that that I'm doing under my new business here, Ciridor Holdings LLC. So I take right around 7,000 to 10,000 per month out. I don't post all of them the last time, so here's a couple here from back in May. So anyhow, enough with the social proof. The real important part of this channel, whenever I go to it, is how other people are using the same strategies, same approach. Micros make money, trade and learn how to manage risk in a small account, then use copiers, the whole thing, yada, yada, yada. We'll get into some of the strategies a little bit more today. And then for the first time in a while, I have this screen up, which I'll leave up for just a little bit. Let me just organize it by PAs. Here are all the various PAs. And for the life of me, or I wish, they'll never probably change this, that PAs could be switched to a 0 balance, so you could see what the actual balances are, 3,000, 4,000, 2,500, 2,100, without removing this nonsense of the notional value. I decided to add some bigger accounts over the last cycle, and the 5 that I'll be buying today are going to be $150,000 accounts on Rhythmic. The reason I'm doing that is really, why not, when the activation fee is the same? The activation fee is the same. It allows me to draw a little bit more when I pull into my risk budget. So that is the little clickbait going on, which is that this is the, I think I'm not as close with Apex anymore, to be dead-ass honest as well, but I think this might be one of the last 90% off sales before they start to offer direct accounts as well. I had mentioned in my trade room this morning, and I discussed it yesterday, I don't quite get why people don't think that a reasonable activation fee, especially for a larger account, plus a very low monthly, 90% off first month, 80% off going forward, and that's the sale they're running through the end of today. So if you've never had an Apex account, I can't imagine there's many people listening to my voice that haven't, but maybe you stumble upon this replay, and if it's before tonight at midnight and you go to tradersdevgroup.com/Apex, and you use code TDGFANATIC, you'll get 90% off your first month and 80% recurring. Here's why that's important, because what I teach is taking this slow. I don't really have any tolerance or patience for people that say the programs force you to go fast because there's a monthly subscription charge that you hit every month. yeah, that monthly subscription charge is a lot if you're bundling in your activation fee. In other words, if you're going with one of the firms that charges a evaluation fee and an activation fee, and you don't pass it in a month, you're going to pay that higher built-in activation fee every single month. So don't do that. If you're first starting out, the best firms for doing this are Apex, Bullinox, Prop Shop Trader. Go with inexpensive accounts, okay? And stop with all the bullshit about whether you're going to get paid, especially if you're in a different phase in your career. Don't worry about that. Apex is not going anywhere. Prop Shop is not going anywhere. Bullinox is not going anywhere, okay? At least from a solvency perspective. I don't know if rules and regulations will change and how much longer they can offer multiple accounts at these deep-ass discounts. So this will be the last time I ever do it with Apex. And that's the little clickbaity part. Okay, so now we can just go on and talk a little bit about trading. I don't know if there'll be any, the whole thing with the rules changed and all the rules. All right, you don't have to worry. Anyway, I'm not even going to get into all the rules stuff today. Let's just be done with it. You do things the way I'm showing you here, or even somewhat close to it. You can cash flow these accounts, change your life eventually within a year. Just give me 1 year of doing this right. Keep trading minis. You know, fight the process. You know, complain about the rules and rule changes, and get sucked up into this nonsense about payout denials, mass payout denials. You're just in the wrong headspace to make this work. Take advantage of these programs while they exist, everybody. Please do. And the sales that go on at essentially Bullinox, Prop Shop, and Apex right now are the best for beginners. Okay. I would even recommend, as I do in my Prop Done Right ebook, I used to say only buy one to start out. Keep your costs at 15 or 20 bucks a month. Okay. Now I would say you're better off accelerating that a little bit. Buy 2 or 3 of them. Okay. Not so that you have a few if you blow the other ones up, not so you trade them in different directions, not so you violate rules, just so that you get into the game the way the game is meant to be played, which is to leverage the buying power across accounts instead of over leveraging yourself in any one given account. Let me say that again. The prop game, since these accounts are so small and all of it is covered in Prop Done Right, you can get it right down below. Please, 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 if you're watching these streams and you still have not engaged with any of my content, I don't send you any kind of bullshit emails or anything like that. Well, some people might disagree. I send you emails, but the emails are just part of the program, which is here's this next chapter, here's the next chapter, here's the next chapter. Learn how these things work, okay? And there is no exception. All right, there is no exception. If anyone wants to fight with me on this, your history will prove you wrong. There is no exception to this rule that you cannot trade big size of any kind, bigger products or whatever, in these prop programs if you are serious about learning how to develop a skill and serious about learning how to cash flow them properly. Invest the time, please. I'm begging you guys. Take 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Learn how to do this properly. And then you can do this nonsense that I have on here if you want. You can have 10 from Apex. You can have some from Legends. You can have some from Take Profit. You can have some from Tick. You can have some from Trade Day. You can have some from Elite Trader Funding. You can have some from Bullinox. You can have some from Earn to Trade. You don't need to do any of that. We have people in our group that are making 6 figures a year while not even doing this full time, literally have other jobs. Very, very low stress overall, this trading style as well. And they're only doing it in 5 or 6 accounts at one firm. Okay? So anyway, that will be the last part of that. As you'll see here, I got some almonds in my throat, so I'm going to... The Apex 90% off sale ends today. You can also get 90% off at Prop Shop if you want to use Prop Shop. You can buy Apex accounts from Rhythmic or Tradeovate if you want to use Ninja and multi-prop, as I discuss in my on my blog, on my website. You want to pick Tradeovate accounts from Apex. Okay. If you want to try Apex on TickBlaze, get access to my desktop and use a different platform, learn a different platform, then you'll need a Rhythmic connection at and then you can use that at Ninja or any Rhythmic broker, any Rhythmic platform, including like Addis and MotiveWave or Quant Tower, whatever you want to do. And then, of course, I think Apex also offers a new platform now called Wealth Chart. So you have, as I've often said here, you have infinite amount of choice. If you're interested in trading your Apex account at TradingView, then select Tradeovate, and then you can trade both on the Tradeovate desktop. You can trade on the Tradeovate web app, and you can trade in TradingView. So much choice that you have going for you there. All right, I don't know if there'll be any questions on that. I'll leave a link down below to all of the goodies in terms of the ebook and everything that you can get involved with if you'd like to when you're watching my streams. Okay, let me see here. Micros, stay in your lane, da-da-da-da. Change the rules. I left Apex 2 months ago, still asking for a screenshot. A screenshot of what? I don't know what you got asking for a screenshot of. Apex direct accounts will get Daryl another ranch. Look, the folks at Apex have done extremely well. I'll just leave it there, right? You guys all know that. They've done extremely well. Let's move this order in here for the one long that I have. I only have positions just here in one last account that I just was looking to get green. I think I got it green. In realized profit, they have, so I can close it right now and be green, but we'll let it run a little bit. NASDAQ, I'm resting in order to sell this swing at 502s and 522s in the same account. And the S&P, I'm long as well. And let me just get out of that. Okay, so long Dow, long S&P, and see if we can build up a bigger position as we creep down here, if we creep down here to the -2s. Ideally, everyone was able to work their way out of the longs in the Dow this morning. If you controlled your size and didn't add at any particular points and took the graceful exit opportunities, we did get, of course, this move that took us from down here in the offer zone. Let me see if, no, I'm not really blocking it right here. Here we go. From this area right here, all the way up to about 44.9s, 44.910s, if you will. And now we went from in the what we call middle of the muck, did not get a VWAP touch today. So important concept here. Don't have your targets at levels that haven't been touched, especially through the whole session so far. All right. So if you're long in here, you want to take off inventory right here at the -1s. Okay. Can I get a 1 in the chat if that makes sense, especially if you followed my stuff before? Okay. This is the idea of situational fluency and being dynamic, okay? It's the reason that all these people that say put these sticky notes and these are the rules and if you follow the rules, trading doesn't work like that. You need to learn how to be dynamic and just say, okay, well, I remember Rod telling me one time that if a level had never been hit, don't make that level a level. Get out right here, get out here, and then reload, okay? You have to learn how to be dynamic, just like the markets are dynamic. Turn this Dow long into a little bit of a scalping exercise within the zones. I hate, someone said today, I hate counter trend trading, or I hate fighting the trend. I love it. The trend on what time frame, right? The trend for the last 5 minutes, the trend for the last 30 minutes, the trend since the open. Okay, this first part of the day, this was not fun. We got outside the bands and stayed outside the bands for a little while. But once we got back inside the bands, and by the way, these are all trades here. Long, out, long, graceful exit, long, graceful exit, out, long, out, right? So, I mean, I would have loved to have held for here, but I'm just taking every little pop. But now we're operating inside the bands. We're in balance, if you will. Just keep doing it and take profits right here. If you want to leave a runner on to see if there can be an extended move into the end of the day, that's fine. Trading strategies have to have volatility and volume as components to them. They have to. The only two things that matter, volatility and volume. If you don't understand those two things, you're going to have trouble being successful. After that, just learn how to have your targets be dynamic. Now, I've had questions about what that means. That just means that if you draw a Fibonacci or a trend line up to some level, and that's your target, that's not a dynamic target. It's a very discretionary. This is, while not moving much, it's moving. It's VWAP, right? Okay? But it hasn't been hit yet, so I'd rather take my profits right down here. All right, if you're just joining, you're like, what's with the headline? The headline was that this is the last day for the Apex 90% off sale. Obviously, they run them from time to time. It will be the last 5 that I ever buy. And I'll probably cash flow these for a little while and then do what I did always in the past, which is just cancel them once I've taken enough money out of them, and we'll move on to the next series of prop firms or what have necessary to prove our point. Because you can do what we're doing at TDG, Traders Dev Group, Acorns to Oak Trees, in any small account live as well. And you can do it at any prop firm. And you won't be violating rules, and you won't have to worry about payouts. And if you don't like Apex, and you don't like Prop Shop already, and you don't like Bullinox, fine. There is so much other choice. Yesterday we talked about Perdia. Yesterday we talked about the futures desk. We haven't talked in a while about Trade Day. A lot of people like My Funded Futures. A lot of people like Tradeify. A lot of people like the Futures Network. I could go on and on and on. Find a horse, ride it for a little while, apply these approaches, and you'll be in good shape. What Renco chart on TradingView is closest to your chart? So, Mike, if that is your name, unfortunately there isn't really one. You can't really. You got to use a desktop application like TickBlaze or. So what I do on Stay in Your Lane for TradingView is I just use a 5-minute chart. And a 5-minute chart does not provide the same amount of granular detail that you get on the Rencos. When I originally started teaching the Rencos, I was also teaching some visual price patterns that you could use. We would call them pagoda tops and bottoms. We call them chop zones. Just names for the visual price patterns. You could think of them the same way people name candlestick patterns, although the visual price patterns on tick charts are much more predictive than the visual price patterns on candlestick charts. But the real thing that you're missing if you're not using the Rencos is you're missing the swing levels. Okay, look at this chart for a moment and then look at this chart. See these swing levels here? This red line and these, you catch really nice 13-period swings that you can look at and use as either targets or entry points as they appear on your chart. And you really can't get swings on a candlestick. So I know a lot of people like TradingView, and I know many of you prefer to trade on the web only, or you're a Mac person. What my solution to that is I'm going to be offering a VPS that will be all bundled. It'll have NinjaTrader on it. It'll have TickBlaze on it. It'll have a couple other platforms on it. And you can use those desktop applications on a VPS and get access to these Rencos because you really do want to learn how to trade with these. Okay, we have plenty of people in our group that are aware of them and then just choose to still use minute charts, which is fine as well. But there really is no substitute for those on TradingView, because what has to happen is they have to be configurable, and they have to be configurable at many levels in terms of the brick size, which all platforms will do the brick size. Renco, I believe, is Japanese for brick. So the brick size, man, the Japanese are big in trading, right? Japanese candlesticks, the Rencos. All right. Okay, question I get asked. This is a good one. I don't know how I'm eventually going to just squash this. It seems like I can never squash this, which is the classic, don't the fees associated with micros eat into your profits? Well, here's the first thing that you guys have to understand. If you have an account with 40 or 50,000 real dollars in it, don't trade micros. Learn how to control risk in 1 or 2 minis. Or you can still trade micros, because the benefit of being able to scale in, scale out with half size and trade around positions using micros instead of all in on one S&P or 2 S&P, where then it's a binary decision. You know, you have to have these hard stops and hard targets for the most part, or you get really jittery because, you know, I have said this before. I'm very fortunate to have several futures accounts that have mid 6 figures in them. I still get antsy when I have a 6 lot on in the NASDAQ. To this day, that's $120 a point. As a percentage of the account size, it's not that big, but I still get very antsy, and I make different decisions when I have 4 and 6 lots on there. And that's with plenty of money and plenty of margin. So to address the situation as to whether, first of all, your profits don't get eaten into because you're not trading more than 2 or 3. You see what I have right here on the screen? long one Dow Jones and an entry for a few more. By the time I get entered on these three and would pay the $1.25 commission, is that more than the commission on one full YM? Of course it is. But here's the thing: who cares? It's a lot like saying I don't know. Don't drive or have a Ferrari or a Range Rover because the gas costs so much more. If you can afford the gas, who cares? You can afford the transaction costs with this trading style, but more importantly, you have no choice. Let me say that again. You have no choice. If your choice is to buy a full mini to save at the illusion that you're saving some sort of transaction costs, you don't understand how futures trading works and how margins work. You might think that you're able to play the game with these prop firms, and you could play the game for a little while, but you will never have the sustained success that I'm teaching. You will never have the sustained success that I'm teaching, because you cannot. No one can defy in sim with way too much margin or leverage. No one can defy math and the complicated nature of markets with small amounts of capital. The only way you can beat the small amount of capital game is by using small products. And if those small products incrementally cost a little bit more per transaction, who cares? You don't have a choice. So there's the answer to that. Did you just say a mini in a 3,000 or 4,000 live account? Trade one? No. 30 or 40,000. 30 or 40,000. You could trade one, or maybe two. But the other thing that I like to point out a lot is look at the MNQ volume. It is 1 million. The NQ is half of it. And this is the same thing every day. Okay? This 1 million is not all pikers and little whatever. There are a lot of people paying those extra transaction costs. And this is where there's just some total dipshits out there. Some of them that own prop firms and other ones that have been with big prop firms, claiming that anybody who's trading micros as a true professional trader, and I'll get comments on this all the time, is just full of shit. And real trade, my favorite is real traders, whatever the fuck that means. Don't trade micros. Well, let me tell you, this million or 1.5 million, sometimes the MNQ trades 2 million contracts. That's all just retail pikers? No, it's not. It's not. It's sometimes, although not always, guys like me that rather scale in four micros. Now I have a little over one contract on in the NQ. Does that cost me quite a bit more in transaction costs? Yep. But if it allows me to control a trade and control my risk a lot better and scale in and trade around price and hold an unprofitable position, then by all means, that's the flexibility that these products offer. But again, this hybrid world between the real world and the prop world, I like to discuss it all the time, but the vast majority of people are not understanding the message because they've never really traded live and they don't understand how everything works. If you have the ability to trade in a simulator and get paid, you should relish that opportunity. And in fact, that's the reason that so many people were pissed about the recent and very quick changes at Prop Shop, is because most of them were curbing what you could do in sim environments, in which a lot of traders have now got hip to the fact that they don't ever want to go live, despite the fact that prop shops set up their entire business to be able to provide more capital to the traders that they take live to make that opportunity attractive. But the final thing, and the only reason I still do this, really, I don't have to do any of this, is to show you on the screen. Go watch my streams every single day. The last losing day was a week and a half ago, and I put that up on the screen a bunch of times. If you haven't seen it, I don't know. Click around, watch them all. There was a day in which I was down about $400 in all these accounts. Only 400. As long as you don't shit like an elephant, $400 is meaningless. But if this isn't attractive to you, I don't know what is. And you can't do this with minis. You literally can't. But you can do it with micros across multiple accounts and have $3,000 to $5,000 days every day. What part of that is not appealing to the audience? Who still wants to fight me that Apex is a scam and that this doesn't work and that the transaction costs are too high? I'm not suggesting that anyone's posting comments is fighting me. The other thing is that if you don't believe this, you will fail. You will fail. If you don't take advantage of super low cost accounts to practice with, not because you can blow them up because it doesn't matter, you paid $15 for it, but put this infrastructure in place while it exists, you're missing a great opportunity. So a couple questions coming in. I believe that that Prop Shop and the EU is maybe not a this year thing. I don't know that for sure, but I think it's not a this year thing, unfortunately. So while no one wanted to give Prop Shop any benefit when the rules changed, I had said, look, if they were really a scam or if they were really unprepared for this marketplace, what they did was they adjusted quickly to data that came in, as I mentioned. And I'll be done discussing the Prop Shop. Because today we're talking about Apex, and it's a 90% off sale, and I'm going to buy the last 5 that I ever will have from Apex. I think I might just go in and buy them live in front of everybody. It'll be up almost 300 accounts, 160 to 175 of them passed, 50 to 75 of them blown up, and 45 of them activated when I activate the last of them. So that's the other thing is I have no problem showing you the number here. 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, and the gaps here 35, 38, 39. These accounts are down here because I just activated Rhythmic and Tradeovate accounts in different order. Mark my words, you can come back. I'm going to scream. I'm going to scream and stream Tuesday through Thursday. I get pretty fired up about this. I was originally not hip to this afternoon thing because I was like, there's not a lot of trading that honestly goes on. But I think I'll be able to fill enough space here with things that are non-trading related. By the way, long the Dow Jones there. Next long is going to be at this swing level right here. But what I'll actually do is cancel that and just leave it at the -2s, which is 44,720. Okay. On entries in here, the first target's going to be, we're in the bid zone, so the first target's going to be the -1s. 1 standard deviation from here. We don't have much time left today, but I'll put in an extended target there of 929, but we haven't hit that today. Today there's been pressure on the Dow Jones, which is easy to see. I'll tell you the other thing that real traders do that I don't see a lot of is you should have up something that's showing you some stocks, and at least the ones that are in the Dow. Boeing had a hard reversal today. United Healthcare is shitting the bed. So these two stocks, especially Boeing reversing like that, that is what's led the Dow lower. Because I mean, you guys see the Boeing chart? I had it up here earlier. I mean, that'll leave a mark, right? If we go to like a 15-minute, Dow would be up if even with United Healthcare, the Dow would be up nicely today if Boeing didn't fall 15 bucks.
Order filled. Position closed. Order filled. Position closed.
And it works at any place, folks. So I've been saying for a while I was trying to do 200 a day just so I could. There's just not enough opportunity, and I get distracted on all kinds of things. But I always keep this up, and then I think to myself last minute, I'm going to have some rested orders in here. So these are 5 express funded accounts. Okay, I had passed and blown up these accounts for since they launched Project X. You guys remember they did a deal where you got the account for $5. So I was like, I don't need these. But then finally I thought, you know what? Let's activate them over here. Do the same thing. Acorns to oak trees. Show you can do the exact same thing, and give myself a little challenge that's different, right? I like what they've done. $200 over 5 days. So you got to do 2. I'm well away from that. I have not averaged $200 over 5 days yet. I could do it in a heartbeat if it's the only account that I traded, or if these were these 5 accounts that we traded. But the strategy is the same. This is stay in your lane on the right and the range trader on the left. You don't have all the same indicators available over here, so it's a little bit of a bummer that they haven't opened up the API so that we can include some of the, but it's good enough for government work, as they say. All right, I'm long here at NASI, which I just realized, in the same account. Yeah. So this I got to be pretty careful with because I'm already long the Dow and I'm long the S&P, I think. Yep, long the S&P. And we'll do another one down here.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Now remember, when I say be careful, I'm really looking for these to all get filled so you can see. Let's manage risk here on the S&P. Put our target in here right here.
Order submitted.
And if the market really starts to shit the bed here in the last 10 or 15 minutes, just hit the close button. It's really that simple. Let me move this over so you can see. The ad there is at 63.95, so we broke below 6,400. Trading right here is not adding to a loser or double down donking or martingale or anything like that. That's the level right there. And look, some people can be very nimble and use this line as a level. Like, look, so the opposite is true too. Never been up to VWAP today. Very weak market, right? So if you have a very weak market here on the S&P and everything is correlated today, a little bit of selling, and it's so minor. I mean, we're not talking about 2% or even 1% down day, right? We're 50 bips. But you see this kind of price action, you get back in. Now you can, some people can adjust real quick and say, okay, I'm going to trade this to the downside and then use this level as my target. That's fine as well. It's generally difficult for me to teach that kind of stuff. So when I'm first showing you how this works, we're going to do the mean reversion stuff. But by all means, you're welcome to find, you know. So I'm just gonna take that off. Okay, just because I already have longs in correlated markets here, and I'd rather see if we can get a short on here in the NASDAQ on a pop back up to about 500, 502s. But same thing applies here. You could look to short the minus ones, all this right here. Okay. And on these charts, I don't have the volume profile set up on the right-hand side. It's very useful to have that set up. In fact, let me do this. Let me move this chart out of the way and bring down the chart that I normally trade on, which is right here. So we'll use this chart. And see how we have, so this is the Dow, and this right here is the point of control. Right here, this line right here. And on the S&P, the point of control is right up here, right here. So all I'm doing is taking the volume profile and overlaying it over here. Now, some people don't like simplicity. They rather have bubbles and go, well, there's liquidity here, or order flow, or reverse ham sandwich. Corgi farted in Japan. This is what's going to happen. I'm just trying to teach you something where all you need to do is have lines on your chart. Here's a line, here's a line, here's a line. And what if it hits that 63.95 and starts to tank? Hit the close button. Manage risk. You think you can manage a $50 or $60 unprofitable position if you're doing this right? Dow Jones heading lower. I'll have a 3 lot on. Now, what you can do on Ninja, which is pretty cool if you don't know this trick, is you can move it to close to that. You can hit the control button and just attach it to the line. So now that order is attached to 44.714, and this is right here, 44.714. Rod, you're trading against the trend. Rod, you're picking up pennies in front of a bulldozer. You know what I'm doing? I'm showing you something you can walk forward test. And if you can find something that's easier for you and allows you to control risk in a better manner. Notice how I say not more profitable, not higher probability, none of those things. The probability that price stays within 2 standard deviations during the cash session is about 80%. 80% of the time. So I'm not very good at math, but I think that means if I short at the very top of the range or buy at the very bottom of the range, I have a trade that I should be able to manage. That's all I care about. Think risk first. Okay? Just think risk first. Now let's talk about where you could, if you had to have a stop associated with it, how you can create dynamic stops and targets. Well, the target's already dynamic. Let me do the same thing. I'm going to attach this order. I'm going to just attach this order to the -1s. So now I have an add at the -2s, and I'm going to attach this order to the -1s. Does anyone see how you could teach this to a 5-year-old? Now let's talk about how to handle, what if this thing just tanks on me? Well, let's measure from this entry, which I haven't got yet, up to here, is 105 points. So if I wanted to have a 2-to-1 reward to risk on a 105-point target, how many points below 44.713 should my stop be? I want to have a 2-to-1 reward to risk, not some bullshit made-up Fibonacci level, not some swing high or swing low, not some nonsense by looking left. Don't look left that often. Look left to understand a little bit of structure. All that ICT nonsense is such bullshit. They're assigning bullshit to, and you guys, most of you, look, if you believe in ICT and you watch my stream, please leave. I mean, you're just a fool. You're a total fool. It is complete nonsense being taught mostly by very young dipshits that fell for this guy's nonsense. That guy couldn't trade his way out of a paper bag. I know all the large, real, legitimate retail traders that have ever existed in futures. He's not one of them. I don't even know if he trades futures. I don't know what the fuck he trades at all. Okay? Now you have a choice here too. I could just gracefully exit that right there. And then now rebuy this low, triple bottoms.
Order submitted.
This just has this is a meaningless level. It's just a level where the market reversed twice. My target would remain the same up at 44.18. I don't know if anyone's answered my question. Yeah, you'd put a target, you put something about 53 points down below. All right, I'm going to come over here and just close these over here. Just racking it up.
Order filled.
Because I used the copier on that last entry.
Order filled.
Okay? This is the one that I was trading in front of you.
Order filled.
Okay? So someone asked if I'm using a copier. There you see it. Okay, and I'm just going to leave on this last one. Turn these all off. Now I'm going to leave these on. And I'm going to move this to here so that I can exit this last one here, which is here. Give me one in the chat if you're long the Dow with me here, from anywhere in here. And then honestly, I'm not looking to pick a fight with anybody, but try to pick holes in what I'm teaching you. Or explain to me why why you don't tell everybody to come listen to what I'm saying. And I mean this. I'm just going to throw the hubris. This is the best possible way. I can absolutely, with 1 year, you can turn yourself into someone that can complement your income. I'm not saying you can be a professional trader. I don't know what your commitment level is. And there are some people, unfortunately, there's a lot of people actually that are just not made out for trading. They can't get out of their freaking head. Any loss freaks them out. Not everyone can do this. But everyone who can apply themselves in a certain way, and especially if you come from especially if you are a woman, if you come from the military, and you just understand how to just follow a structure. I'm not saying rules. I'm not going to give you rules. I don't have formal training on any of this stuff. You can come into my trade room and watch 500 replays. So let's go to the one account that we still have on, which is 33. And I also have an MES long here too. So the MES long target will be right there. And let me attach this order down here. We got 1 more minute till the cash on close. We'll see what happens with that, or the market on close orders. So question about sizing. How many micros will you get in? How many this, how many that? Okay, if you haven't watched what I've been talking about, everything is derived from your daily risk budget. If you trade the Dow Jones, you can generally have a few more contracts than if you traded the NASDAQ, because the amount of risk that you're taking in a instrument that trades $5 or $6 or $7 or $800 a day versus one that trades $300 or $400 a day is double the risk, right? So in the Dow Jones, for instance, if you have a $400 risk budget, you can generally scale into about 3 to 4 micros, which is great. Gives you the most amount of flexibility. On the MES, generally 1 to 2. I have $880 risk budgets in these accounts, so it allows me to trade about as many as 8 to 10 micros across various markets. Because in my trade room, my whole goal is to be in positions so that I want to step on my dick. I really do. It'd be great if I could. Wouldn't be that great if I stepped on my dick. But you're picking up what I'm putting down? I want to put myself in harm's way so that hundreds of people every day can just watch how it's not a big deal. How I'm not just adding and adding to a loser till it reverses. Everything, your entire trade plan is already played out in front of you. Right? Now, I'm going to do something where I'm just going to take this right at this swing level here. And it's asking me if I want to move it away from the management, because you see, this is a pretty long swing level. Okay? This is a pretty long swing level. And we already discussed that the market was having trouble, getting above. So Let me just get out, preserve my whopping $18 in that account. It's the only account I'm still trading today because it's the worst performing account for the day. And the reason it's the worst performing account for the day, which is right here, this one, is because I screwed up and it wasn't in the right replication group, so it didn't gain any of the gains from the other accounts here. So since she was left behind today, I'm helping her out. Some people are saying they've seen me come back from being down 400 or 500. The key to that is you have got to have given yourself the risk budget with which to do that. Most people down 300 or 400 or 500, you have to be out. But yes, I have a little more flexibility with a slightly larger risk budget. And by the way, the risk budget is not made up. Okay, your risk budget should be 10% of your starting account balance. So if you're doing a $50,000 account and your account's at $2,500, let's say you have a funded account, right? So you have $2,500 of drawdown. You grow that account to $1,500. Okay. Now your total account value is $4,000 in a silly way. You can look at it. What you don't want to do is start at zero, grow your account to $1,500 or $2,000 and be working with a $1,500 daily, $150 daily risk budget. It's a little too small. At some point, you have to get off the bunny slopes, or you're not going to advance. Now you grow that account to $2,000. You have a $4,500 account. You can have a $450 risk budget if you want, but ultimately, your daily risk budget is informed by your ability to produce gains, risk-adjusted returns. How much money can you make within your risk budget? With an $880 risk budget, I can often make $800 or more, very often, especially if I'm focused in just trading. I have to go do Pilates and get green juices and get massages and brush and take supplements and do all that. So if you don't have to do all that, or God forbid, you have kids or a life or a spouse, you're going to have other things you got to do. So until you can exceed your daily risk budget 3 to 4 times a month, or until you grow your account to the point where your 10% of your starting account balance is, don't add a contract. All this compounding stuff is total nonsense. Dollar cost averaging and compounding are an investor's game. It's investment. Do that on your investment side. Pluck money away. Buy every dip in NVIDIA. You do, you boo, whatever you want to do. Let the dividends reinvest, but that's not day trading. Your goal is not to take a small amount of money, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, and spend all the hard effort and time it takes to get it to 15. Who cares? If you develop that skill, do it in prop programs, do it across 3 to 5 accounts in 4 or 5 prop programs, and now that $10,000 or $15,000 is $100,000 of real money that you can take out, and then just do it again. Do it to me one more time. Once is never enough. All right. The little teaser clickbait headline today was the fact that this is the last day of a 90% off sale at Apex, and this will be the last 5 Apex accounts I ever buy. We got 15 of them over here, 10 on Trade of 8, 5 on Rhythmic, so I'm going to add 5 more on Rhythmic. And that gives me flexibility to trade them over at TickBlaze and other places as well. Any place that's a Rhythmic platform. All right, 5 more minutes. Let me see if there's any questions I missed. One complaint I hear from traders trading your style is they get hammered on strong trend days. That's their fault. I don't know what else to say. What does hammered mean? Does hammered, if hammered means they go down to their DRB and hit the close button, then there's no problem with that. every single time, and I did this for about 6 or 7 years, I offered, like, it was actually embarrassing because we had a mastermind group, right? And we charged one was $50,000 for the year or $25,000 for less meetings. So the $50,000 had I think 6 meetings during the year in person, which was a total pain in the ass, especially having to go to Kansas City and all that shit. And then we had some others, and these are people that are really, generally they weren't very good traders. They were just business people that had money to invest in these kind of things. But every single time when they would want to say something about the nature of the strategy, they weren't even close to executing it properly. So am I saying that that on days in which the -2s or +2s don't hold at all and you get no two-way action and no retracements and no opportunities to get out, you're not going to hit your DRB? No, you're going to hit your DRB. It's just going to happen. Use that as a badge of honor. But you're going to hit your DRB a lot more often if I were to go in an audit and find out that, oh my goodness, you're buying or selling +1s or -1s on days in which we're not even at 25% ATR. So again, I don't have a rule book, but if you don't understand the basic framework of what you're doing, then you're doing it wrong. Or let me put it this way. How come I don't get hammered on strong trend days, whatever that means? Why don't I? What am I doing differently that you're not seeing in front of you? Am I adding more to losers? Nope. Do I have a higher daily risk budget than many people that will start following this? Yeah, I do. But that doesn't mean with the sizing that I'm doing that I wouldn't also get hammered on days like that. The other thing that I have is I have a lot more screen time and situational fluency than many of you listening to my voice will ever have. I'm already way ahead of you. So since I can see the matrix, there's more often times where I'll just see what the day is looking like very early on and work my way out of trouble and be done with it. Like, this is not a day in which this mean reversion style is going to be profitable, or it's going to feel like a fight the whole time. But let me go here real quick and go to screenshots. I'll try to find the screenshot I was talking about. I don't know if you can see this on the screen. It's pretty small, but I take a screenshot every day, and here's a red one I can just see. And this is way back. These are from April. Okay, so we'll just, I don't know, go to... And as I joke, it's really hard to doctor this every day. Here we go, green, 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 green. But this is the one I wanted to show. I keep showing. I'm gonna bring it up every day. This is the last time that I lost. And this is on the 21st. So this is 8 days ago.
Order filled. Position closed.
So it's 8 days ago.
Order filled. Position closed.
Okay, I have to... So I'm just going to leave this up on the screen for a second. It's important. Let me go ahead and cancel these orders. I wish there was there's no cancel all on Project X, right? Not that I know of. I just go over to orders here and I just go open, open, and I just cancel all these open orders. And I know they cancel them for you as well. Okay, so there's the last losing day, which is on 7/21. Can you see the balances there when I was on the losing ones? These Apex PAs, I had just sort of started them. They were up a couple $100, and then I took them below the starting balance. Now these are all at about 151,000. All right, I think that will be it for today. Again, the teaser on the headline was I'm done with Apex. I am done with Apex. I'm done with Apex evaluations. You can get one for 90% off. I think that having one of the either Bullnox or Prop Shop, or could be Elite Trader Funding, or it could be Apex, have one of those really low-cost, couple low-cost accounts in there that only that renew at 80%, so you don't have to go super fast. Work with a firm that's nearly paid out $1 billion, and that's real payouts. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Is it $1 billion? I know it's $500 million. Let's go with $500 million. Prop Shop's already paid out $1.2 million. All right. There's a cancel all in Project X. Where is it? Oh, you're not going to be able to show me. Where's the cancel all? I can just Google it, but where's cancel all? I've never found it. Is this it? Anyway, on the Project X circle. You mean logo? Within the order widget. This is an order widget or a dome? All right, we'll figure it out tomorrow. This is cancel orders, but I think it's just for what's on the dome. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. If I click on this or this, settings. Yes, the Prop Shop is also 90% off recurring. And there's it already happened. There was a webinar today at 11 o'clock where they went through the rule changes and got flogged or whatever happened. Click the gear icon on the top right of the order tab. This right here. What is the order tab? Sorry, this is a dome, right? Are we referring to this is a dome? This is a chart. What is an order tab to you guys? Anyway, I'll figure it out. I like my way. I just go in and click it every single time. But I'm sure there is a cancel, flatten all, across all accounts, right? You refer to this as an order tab? Oh, here you go. So I have to uncheck that. I definitely don't want a reverse button. Okay. So when I flatten all, is that for only the instrument, or does it flatten all trades across? This is only going to be for this instrument, right? Well, let's test that. Okay, so that's that. And then the MES, I'll put an order up here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten all here. And did that cancel my MES order too? It did. All right, look at that. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Leave it to Big Dick Duck. He knows how to do things. Appreciate it. All right, well, if the webinar was just a commercial, no one likes watching commercials, come watch my stream, and I'll tell it to you straight. If you're into low-cost accounts, put Prop Shop in the mix for as long as they offer the low-cost accounts, because they're probably going to switch to the activation fee included, which will be good for some of you who can save some money and can pass programs in a reasonable amount of time without putting on too much risk. But if you're not that person, don't buy these bundled accounts, the ones that have the activation fee included or the direct to funded accounts, because you're just paying a bunch more and you don't know what you're doing yet. the best possible way to keep your costs low, especially if you're still not capable of doing what I'm saying, and you're still blowing up accounts and you're still struggling, is to buy some low-cost accounts from Apex, PropShop, or Elite Trader Funding, or Bullinox. Pick every one you want. I have links to all of them down below if you want to support my channel and use my coupon so I can make 85 cents. It'd be awesome. But then once you have them, have the discipline to, if you blow up, just let the account reset for 15 or 20 bucks and then you get a new account. Never, never, never pay for a reset, and just keep your account, your costs low. Heck, even if you had 3 accounts, it costs you 60 or 75 bucks a month for the benefit of learning how this all works. Because once you develop the skill, they can't take the skill away from you, no matter what rule changes they make. I mean, if they're going to stay in business, they have to allow some type of trading. And let me tell you, the type of trading that would be the last to get knocked out would be people that are trading really, really small, taking their time, and the firm just doesn't even care about, because they have to worry about the people putting on max size. All right, that will be it. Did I miss any questions here? The last part was all about how to cancel orders, so I figured that out. No, you cannot use Ninja with PropShop. Let me go through this one more time, okay? To my knowledge, there are only a few prop programs that support Ninja that are not Tradeovate. In other words, where you could connect to Rhythmic on Ninja. And I believe that's like Bullinox, Apex, Take Profit, maybe a few others. But if you want to use Ninja, then buy a Tradeovate account from any of the firms, and you can connect to Ninja because they're owned by the same thing. But at PropShop, you can't natively use Ninja, but you can use it in other ways. Like, eventually, you guys will figure out how to stitch this all together. But PropShop, you're going to be using a Rhythmic platform like TickBlaze or Addis or Quant Tower or one of those. Now, there are plenty of people in our group that can describe and show or teach you how to trade PropShop on Ninja if you want. Good brick size for gold. I use 11 by 2. So for me, gold is 11 by 2. So here's a gold chart right here. Oh, sorry, the gold chart's right here. So there's a gold chart. So I use an 11 by 2. Suggestions to help with lag once I get into a trade while copying 20 accounts. No, I don't. Most of the time, it just has to do with the horsepower of your machine. One thing I will suggest you don't do is ever attach orders to any lines using attach or anything like that, or use full automation, full automated scripts or bots when you're copying 20 accounts. You want to look to try to copy in account groupings if you can, maybe 5 accounts at a time. Don't attach any orders, and have a very powerful computer with a really good connection. So the machine I'm on has 128 RAM. So you need to have a pretty fast processor, a good connection, and lots of RAM, and you should be okay. But don't attach orders. So that's all I would do there. All right, cool. Remember, streaming every day here, Tuesday through Thursday. Also, I'm going to be doing a webinar in conjunction with TickBlaze and NeuroStreet on Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to spend a little bit more time teaching these entire strategies. And anybody who shows up for that, you will get access to my desktop, my TickBlaze desktop, if you'd like to use it, as well as the XML file for Ninja, if you want to use that. For Ninja, you are going to have the order flow suite if you want it to work. We'll get into a bunch of those details. I'll show you how to set up the strategy on TradingView. We'll go all through it on a working session. The way you get access to that webinar is you have to be invited. In order to be invited, you have to either be a customer of TickBlaze, a customer of NeuroStreet, a customer of PropShop, or best way to find out about it is to make sure that you're on my list somehow. So just download the ebook or get the Futures Fanatic course or whatever, and you'll get an email about the webinar on Friday. All right, that'll be it for today. Len, I have so the question about which copier I recommend. What I recommend is that everyone check out my website and go just pop around for a little bit. If you go to my blog, you'll see I did an entire article on multi-propping, so how you set up multi-propping. And then I did an entire article on trade copiers. And this is already a little stale because there's some new ones that have come into the market that I'm working with right now. So for instance, this one doesn't mention Thor, but here's a spreadsheet that shows Replicanto, Affordable, ETP, Quantower, Trade-Evade, Project X, Volumetrica, TradeSyncer, and there's some more already. So go check out my website. I'll put a link to it right here. I might be biased, but without a doubt, I have the most resource valuable website in all of futures. And if you don't believe me, then go to the help library and just do a search. And if I don't have an article or something on that search, then it helps me out, and I'll know what people are searching for, and I'll create content on it. So if you want to know about software tutorials or my trade room or courses in education or funding companies or this was auto trading, which I'm not doing anymore, or platforms and brokers or affiliate programs or products and services, just come over here. And while the emphasis, of course, is the stuff that I offer, I have plenty of just resources that you can. And here's the other thing. With the advent of AI, I actually will create articles and stuff right away because it only takes me a minute and a half. All I have to do is tell the super smart machine what I want to write about, and I feed in the information that I knew, and then the super smart machine writes a very valuable. So my blog posts are not just all AI bullshit. They're AI written with me feeding it exactly what I want it to say and how I want it to, what the point needs to be. So we have that on. Now here's one that I really wish more people would read. So let me show it to you real quick here, is How to Unfuck Your Futures. Okay, so this one goes through what I talk about every day in here, which is all you have to learn how to do is not lose money. So earlier we were talking about people say they get hammered trading my style or following what's going on here. First of all, they're not following it. Second of all, they're not abating by a daily risk budget. So first of all, that statement's just not true. But even if it was true that you're going to lose money on days in which the market does not mean revert from any meaningful level, that's fine. You'll lose money those days. You're, of course, not going to win all the time. But as long as you understand the math behind recovery and trade this style, it won't matter. All right, that will be it for today. Okay. I do quite a bit of automated trading, but I don't have any. I don't do it anymore in terms of in the public. It's too much of a hassle. I made way too much money for too many people, and I didn't get properly compensated for it. I was a principal over at Collective 2, and I had the ability to copy trade and send signals to interactive brokers' accounts, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm a very, 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 very good risk-adjusted trader. I'm not going to double or triple your futures account, but I'm going to raise it by 50 to 60, 70% every year with no more than a 20% drawdown. That's freaking gold to people. But the problem is people got greedy, and instead of 250,000, they wanted to put in 10 million. And I'm like, I'm not managing 10 million bucks for $2,000 a month in fees, right? Not worth it. But what you can do is you can automate any of this stuff. Walk forward, test a strategy, learn how it works, and then In TickBlaze, you can do it. In Ninja, you can do it. In TradingView, you can do it. You can use PineScript. You can use R. You can use Python. You can use whatever you want. You can code in PHP. It doesn't matter. All you want to do is make sure that your logic is coded so that your entries are automated. And then from there, you can sort of manage risk or decide what models you want to use. Here's the thing. It's advanced. A lot of people want to get there. Just start by making $20,000 or $50,000 a month eventually. Let's be more realistic. $5,000 a month. Just start there. As a point-and-click monkey. Put the order on the line, click the button. Put the order on the line, click the button. Manage risk. That's it. All right. If you want to know why I'm done with Apex, go back to the beginning of the stream, and I explained the little clickbaity thing. That'll be it for today. Stay green, trade like me, and thanks everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is a fun day, FOMC day, so I will actually start the stream a little earlier at 11, and I'll be broadcasting twice in my trade room, right? And if you are interested in finding out and seeing when most of the profits are made, where is this over here? I don't know where it went. Oh, here. A lot of this happens during the trade room. Not all of it, but a good amount usually happens during the trade room. And you can see the P&L porn from our trade members, which is, I think, pretty useful. That will be it for today. Stay green, trade like me, and we'll see you later. Bye.